This just in, body odor is officially canceled for good this time. Unlike certain other DOs, Lumi Whole Body Deodorant is powered by mandelic acid to deliver outrageous 72-hour odor control everywhere from your pits to your feet, and yes, even your privates. In fact, it was patients concerned about private part odor that originally inspired the OBGYN who invented Lumi. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off their starter pack. Use code RATCHET15 for 15% off your first purchase at lumideodorant.com. That's code RATCHET at LUMEDEODORANT.com. I love this time of year. It's a time for renewal. For me, that means reconnecting with friends and family I haven't seen for a while. And when I do, I want to make sure I have plenty of wine on hand for us to celebrate with. That's why I have First Leaf. As America's most personalized wine company, First Leaf takes the worry and guesswork out of buying quality wines. I love reconnecting with friends and family over bottles of First Leaf wine, and I bet you'll feel that way too. So give First Leaf a try. Head over to tryfirstleaf.com/ratchet to sign up and save 50% on your first 6 hand curated bottles, plus free shipping. That's tryfirstleaf.com/ratchet to save 50% on your first 6 bottles plus free shipping. Try firstleaf.com/ratchet. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who don't identify as either, you are listening to Ratchet and Respectable. I'm going to tell you in advance that I'm under the weather. I got sick when I was in Franschhoek, aka wine country. It was beautiful. We left on Friday. Friday was amazing. I woke up Saturday and my throat was just really sore. It was really scratchy and I didn't sleep well. I'll tell you about that another time. It has something to do with the Mozambique incident. I was staying on the ground floor of a guest house, and to be frank with you, I was just terrified. Like I was trying to go to sleep and my heart was like beating out of my chest, afraid that somebody was going to come in my room. It's not rational. It's like PTSD. It's not the first time it's happened, but the first time it's happened in a while. So I didn't sleep well. And then I woke up the next morning and like my throat is like really messed up. And by that night, my throat was just a mess. I wasn't even drinking. And then by Sunday, I actually caught a ride back to Cape Town early so I could just rest because I just felt like shit. And I was taking meds. But yeah, like I've been messed up. Like it's Tuesday night, 7:20. I'm just starting to feel a little bit better. Like I can breathe out my nose again, at least like the right nostril. I don't know if it affects my voice. When I did the test for the podcast, I could tell the difference, but I don't know if you can tell the difference. But yeah, like I'm just like falling apart right now. I tell you all that to say, I have an extraordinary amount of meds in my system, and we have a lot of topics to discuss, some of which are very sensitive. I think I'm in my right mind, but then I was texting one of my friends earlier and she kept laughing the whole time. And I was like, what's so funny? And she was like, yo, you were on one. And I was like, am I? I don't feel like I am. And she was like, girl. So maybe I am. I don't know. We about to find out. Also, I'll try to edit out the coughs and the sniffles. If one sneaks through, please don't email me about it. I don't care. I'm doing the best that I can under the circumstances. Thank you kindly. Oh, we have lots to talk about this week. We'll start with TV. We'll catch up on what I've been watching. I finally saw Bridgerton. I tried 4 times to get through it. Once I got into it, it was good, but I kind of felt like it was a slow start. Penelope's not my favorite character. It just is what it is. She's all right. I don't have anything against her. She just spends like the first episode and a half in the shadows, gazing and longing for Colin, who admittedly came back from abroad and looks like good, real good. I mean, I get the attraction, but she's just, I don't know. She doesn't seem to be like a main character in her own life, but yet she's the main character of the series. So I'm just kind of like, And her feud with her bestie, I don't care. Maybe because it's been so long since the last Bridgerton was on. I didn't particularly care for season 2 either. I thought it was a little dry. I love Bridgerton 1, and I love Queen Charlotte. Once she and the love interest, finally started being loving, once they started having some chemistry, things started to work. Then once she got her makeover, it's amazing how putting somebody in some better colors will make a world of difference. And I was like, ma'am, like, why are you dressed like a Tropicana fruit basket? But the whole family was. It worked for them. But like once they put her in some greens, I was like, oh, here we go. Some emeralds, some jewel tones. I was like, we're doing much better now. But no, it turned out really cute. I was pissed, even though I read that the season was in 2 parts, which I was like, why are y'all doing this? Y'all didn't do this the first 3 times. Why are y'all trying something different now? It ain't broke. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to fix it. 4 episodes just dropped, and then another 4 dropped next month. And I was like, I don't want my episodes separately. I want all my episodes right now. But we got to the end of episode 4. I'm fully invested. And then it ends. I gotta wait a month to find out what happens next. Like, it looks juicy and good. Like, the plot is set up right. But I was like, Shonda, ma'am, what you doing? I also watched The Ultimatum. I didn't have shit else to do Sunday but lay in bed and try to sleep. I can only sleep but so much. Because so many people asked me to watch it. I'm not really like the biggest on dating shows. I know we started watching the Never Mets on OWN, which I'm not caught up on. I'm not invested in any of the couples. I'm not rooting for anyone. I'll get around to watching it when I have a bunch of downtime, but in the meantime, I'd rather watch other things like The Ultimatum South Africa, because everyone keeps recommending it. It was like a good 100 people were like, D, you got to watch this show. Okay. Not near one of y'all mentioned that this lady's wig is levitating on her head for an entire season of the show. And it's the bougie lady. She got the nerve to be super bougie and superstitious and act like she better than everybody else. And I was like, ma'am, we could see your lace. And it's not even like your lace is pressed down and maybe it's like a cheaper wig. It's like, no, your lace is literally peeling back up at the edges. And she doesn't come across well on this show. Actually, the character that I'm speaking about is completely fucking unhinged. She has 2 moments where I'm just like, yo, somebody should literally snatch her wig and run off with it. Just on the GP. I know it's wrong, but is it? But then nobody on the show told her, nobody on the cast, nobody that she was interacting with, nobody that she was dating, none of the women on the show, nobody in production, nobody on the crew, nobody said a word to you about your wig lifting. That means you were a nightmare on set. That means you were an absolute terror because the wig was levitating. It was levitating on her head. I was like, oh, she was horrible to everyone. That's not just to act for TV. If you haven't watched The Ultimatum, and I've never watched a version of this before. These couples, I think it's 6 of them. One of the partners in the couple is frustrated that they've been dating for whatever amount of time and there's been no proposal. So they go on the show and they agree to swap partners for 3 weeks, kind of like swinging, but allegedly not with sex, but maybe. But they agree to swap partners with another couple and live with them for 3 weeks to see what it would be like to be with another person and decide if they still want to be with the person that they came with. So they do 3 weeks with the other person, and then they do 3 weeks with their person, and then they make a decision on whether they're going to get engaged or whether they're going to go their separate ways. Okay. Like all of the couples have some issue. You can imagine if it gets to the point that even without being on a reality show, if you have to give someone an ultimatum to marry you, there's clearly something going on in the relationship where the person, for whatever reason, doesn't want to, and that issue is not being addressed. One of the couples had been together for 7 years, but I think they were like 28 and 29. They met at university, so they were still relatively young. Another couple had only been dating like 6 months. He wanted to get married. She's like 28 and she was like, yeah, I don't want to get married until I'm 40 or 50, which I was like, ma'am, why are you on this show? She actually ended up getting engaged. That was the weird part. With 3 couples that I was like, how did y'all even end up on this show? Like, how did it even get this far? One was the terrible lady with the bad wig. She was dating a man who had absolutely no self-esteem to put up with her shit. And he actually had matched with a woman who was very nice and very sweet. And I thought that he would see what the possibilities were that he could be with somebody who didn't treat him like shit. But he went right on back to old girl and was like, I want to make this work. Kind of. Then there was another couple. The woman, and this is her boyfriend she's talking to, she called him babe. And he was like, can you refrain from calling me that? And she was like, what? And then later she said something about, she was like, well, I love you. I miss you. And he was like, yeah, let's refrain from all that. They ended up being together. And I was like, huh? Like, we just gonna skip over that whole don't call me babe, don't say I love you, but then we gonna end up like trying to build a life together? And I didn't see anything that happened on the show that was like a major transformation that issue was addressed. There was another woman, she had been dating this dude for 2 years, and she said she had never been to his house. She had never met any of his family or friends. She wasn't allowed to call him and only text. And she was like, I feel like you're hiding me. You think? So she gave him an ultimatum to marry her. And I was like, is this actually the type of person that you want to marry? And then later in the show, this is after she swapped with the new guy, she goes to meet her family. She says, oh, this is my trial husband. You know, I'm not with the other guy anymore. One of the relatives like laughs or something. And she was like, yeah, I told you what the big issue with the other guy was. The woman had told her brother that when she has sex with the man, she don't feel nothing. You've been with him for 2 years? And you can't feel his penis when it's inside you? Ma'am, ma'am, ma'am. He treats you bad and he can't fuck. Why are you there? Folks gotta pick a struggle. You gotta pick a struggle. It's not all of the above. Pick one struggle. No, sir was like, I'm gonna take all the struggles. I guess that's enough. I don't want to give the whole show away, but it's 9 episodes. At one point, my mouth just stopped hanging open. I had to cut off my feelings and my brain because I was reacting too much. It's just a lot of dysfunctional shit happening in the world. And I was like, look, every night that I go to sleep like a starfish peacefully in my bed, call me crazy. There's an absolute peace waking up every morning knowing that nobody's lying to me, nobody's cheating on me, nobody's gaslighting me, nobody's like just doing some dumb shit that's about to like ruin my day or maybe even my life. I gotta stop watching these dating shows. It's making me pessimistic. Sometimes I'm like scared to date. I'm like, like don't bring your crazy over here.
This just in, body odor is officially canceled for good this time. Unlike certain other DOs, Lumi Whole Body Deodorant is powered by mandelic acid to deliver outrageous 72-hour odor control everywhere from your pits to your feet, and yes, even your privates. In fact, it was patients concerned about private part odor that originally inspired the OBGYN who invented Lumi. Fast forward 6 years, and her game changing whole body Dio has now earned over 300,000 5-star reviews from people like me who love smelling great and feeling confident from head to toe. I love Lumi deodorant. I've been using it for years, only on my pits, but it can go everywhere under boobs, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, vulvas, and feet. Lumi has a variety of fresh, bright scents like clean tangerine, lavender sage, or my favorite, toasted coconut. If you're ready to try Lumi, the starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like a mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off their starter pack. Use code RATCHET15 for 15% off your first purchase at lumideodorant.com. That's code RATCHET at LUMEDEODORANT.com.
I've been good so far. I don't think I've said anything crazy. The teacher that got fired, we talked about him last episode. The teacher, I think last week I wasn't sure whether he'd been fired. He absolutely has been fired at this point. He is still talking about it on social media, which, it's a recent story. It's a story of interest, but he has an interesting take on why he was terminated from his job. I read he did an hour-long video. I ain't watched the whole thing. I just watched clips of it. He said that what he did, having the young ladies braiding his hair on video, he said, yes, it was unprofessional. But he said that his whole approach to teaching has been, quote unquote, unprofessional, unconventional. But he was like, that's what makes him an effective teacher. That's what made him able to relate to his students. And he was like, I was a good teacher and I loved my students and my students loved me. Okay. He then went on further to say that the reason that there was so much outrage about the video and that ultimately he was terminated, he said it's because he was young. Okay, I know that to be true. I believe he's in his 20s, either 27, 29, one of those. Okay, late 20s. He said that he was black, which I've seen pictures of him. Yes, he is definitely black. And he said handsome. He said he's young, black, and handsome. And that's why he was ultimately terminated. And I was like, friend, friend. Now you know me. I'm not petty. I don't really talk about people's looks. I talk about your outfit if I don't like it. If we're talking about something like the Met Gala, something you're wearing on a red carpet where it's like a see and be seen, you've got a stylist in the whole nine, like you're showing up to present yourself. To me, that's fair. I don't like to talk about people's looks. The only reason I'm making an exception in this case is because he has chosen to address his looks and use it as a reasoning for why he was terminated from his job. He is not an ugly man. Full stop. He is not a beast. He is not a monster. I just feel like at the point where you're asserting that you have been persecuted because of your appearance, that you need to be on some extreme end of the appearance spectrum. You either need to be a beast or a monster, or you need to be someone who is exceptionally fine. Like if Michael Ealy was like, I am being unduly persecuted because I'm so fine, I would be like, yo, they persecuting that black man. They persecuting him because he's fine. If Morris Chestnut was like, I am being persecuted because I'm fine, I'd be like, yep, I can see that. They hating on Morris. Damson Idris, they hating me because I'm fine. Yep, they hating you because you fine. You right. The teacher? Friend. Friend. You know we can see you, right? He not an ugly man. I don't want y'all to think I'm being mean. I'm just again pointing out at the point that you're saying that you are being unduly persecuted because of your looks, you really got to look like something. He's all right. You don't recoil in horror, but I don't necessarily think you like swoon either. I don't think that he is of a level of attractive to be like, people are hating on me for how I look. It just seemed very far-fetched to me. You know who else who could say that? This is my friend too. I've known him forever. Demarco Morgan on GMA3. He was all over the blogs last week. He likes to cycle. He's an avid cycler. So last week he posted a picture in his biking outfit. He had on some spandex, compression, I think, biking shorts, and then like a compression spandex maybe jacket that was comfortable for biking. This looks like all the clothing that I see on the professional bikers. DeMarco is not a skinny white man. He is a well-fed, amen, Southern black man who has never missed leg day. I don't know if that's from the gym or if that's from cycling up hills, but the thighs were thying. And then also because he's in spandex, there were other attributes of his that appeared more prominently as well. And it wasn't thirst trappy. We've seen when dudes do the thirst trap pics, like the eggplant pics, right? It was not that. It was just he had on cycling clothes and he is a blessed man. Very blessed. And the pictures were all over the blogs. And they were like, oh, ABC execs are furious at Morgan's attire. And I was like, are they? Are they? Are there a group of ABC executives be like, God damn it, the new anchor is too damn fine. He must be unduly persecuted. If Demarco was like, I'm being unduly persecuted because my thighs are so thick and my package, I know him too well. I can't even talk about this with a straight face. If he was like, I'm being unduly persecuted by ABC because of my fine appearance, which he would never. He's the most modest, humblest man I've ever met. He's so sweet. But if he said it, I'd be like, you know what? They persecuting that black man. Justice for DeMarco and his thighs. I would get it. I would get it. I would understand. This gentleman, this teacher gentleman, sir, 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 we have eyes and you need a mirror. That's all I'm saying. Also, I know last episode I told you about my thought process about him being, I thought it was suspended at the time, but fired. And we talked about how he's operating in the gray area. And when it comes to dealing with our children, we need to operate strictly in a space that's firmly okay. I didn't think he should be fired. I was in conversation with some educators, and one of them said, you know, he needs a mentor, he needs guidance, he needs to be reminded of the rules that he needs to adhere to as a teacher. And I thought that was very fair. But now that he's like online saying this dumb shit, I was like, oh yeah, I don't think you got good sense. I was giving him the benefit of the doubt, but now that he's like, oh, I got fired because I'm young and I'm black and I'm attractive, I'm like, I don't think you got good judgment, bro. I also am like, do you want another job in education or you're done? I don't feel like you're helping your cause here. Like maybe you just want to be like a social media influencer. Maybe you want to be a podcaster or a live streamer, or which is very fine. Podcasting is good money. Streaming is even better. I'm not mad at you. I'm just like, bruh, this hot take, this recent take, that ain't it.
I love this time of year. It's a time for renewal. For me, that means reconnecting with friends and family I haven't seen for a while. And when I do, I want to make sure I have plenty of wine on hand for us to celebrate with. That's why I have First Leaf. As America's most personalized wine company, First Leaf takes the worry and guesswork out of buying quality wines. To get started, just answer some specific questions about your wine likes and dislikes on First Leaf's website. It only takes about 5 minutes to create your personalized wine profile. Then, your very own wine concierge will use your responses to curate a customized selection of delicious award winning varieties, from rosés to sparklings and everything in between, all based on your personal preferences. These hand selected wines will be delivered to your door within a few days, with each bottle priced lower than what you'd pay at a wine store. You even get to choose when to receive your wine. Plus, every selection is backed by First Leaf's 100% satisfaction guarantee. And if you have questions about your wines, like what to pair them with, for example, First Leaf's personal wine concierge team is there to offer expert advice. I love how my membership to First Leaf Monthly Wine Club has made shopping for high quality wine affordable, fun, and easy. I love reconnecting with friends and family over bottles of First Leaf wine, and I bet you'll feel that way too. So give First Leaf a try. Head over to tryfirstleaf.com/ratchet to sign up and save 50% on your first 6 hand curated bottles, plus free shipping. That's tryfirstleaf.com/ratchet to save 50% on your first 6 bottles plus free shipping. Try firstleaf.com/ratchet.
At the end of last week's podcast, I had to do an add on because I told you in advance I was taping on Thursday because I was going away for the weekend. A video from 2016 was obtained, I think is a better word, by CNN of Sean Combs, physically assaulting, abusing Cassie Ventura, his then girlfriend, in a hotel while she was waiting for the elevator. The video showed an incident that was described in Cassie's lawsuit against Combs. Her version of events is actually mild in comparison to what happened. She is seen in the video approaching the elevator. She's barefoot. The backstory is he was drunk. He had punched her in the face. While he was in the shower, it seems, she gathered her stuff and snuck out of the hotel room and was trying to leave, hence being barefoot while waiting for the elevator. You can see her putting on one of her either socks or shoes on video. She has a hoodie on. She has it pulled up over her head. She's carrying a bunch of bags. He runs down the hallway in his barefoot in a towel. He sees her at the elevator. He yanks her back, throwing her onto the floor, and then he kicks her. It seems to be in her face, but in her upper body, he kicks her, and she lays there like a lump. He grabs the bags, he goes back over to her, he kicks her again, and then he proceeds to drag her down the hall. She said in the lawsuit that he picked up a glass vase and threw it at her down the hallway. And to see it on the video, he's sitting in a chair. Throwing a glass vase at somebody is crazy enough. But to actually be kind of like relaxing while you do it, like it's such unhinged fucking behavior. It is incredibly violent. I haven't seen anything like that probably since the Ray Rice video. It's jarring for me to watch. I can't imagine to live it. CNN says that they obtained the video. They haven't said how they obtained it. In my fantasy world, Cassie got whatever settlement that she did from her lawsuit, and she took a chunk of that change and she went and tracked down this video and gave it to CNN. I would love if that's how CNN obtained the video. I think they probably went and searched it out. A good journalist may have gone digging for it. I think, though, if somebody were to do that, they probably would have credited them because that's some good journalism right there. The theory inside CNN seems to be that it was given to them. I don't think it's coincidence that the statute of limitations has expired on what was depicted in the video. It happened in 2016. That's 8 years ago. The statute of limitations was up at year 7. The LAPD has already spoken out. Puffy can't be prosecuted for what's for the actions that are depicted in that video. If my fantasy is not true, if Cassie is not the one who obtained the video, I do hope that CNN gave her a heads up that, hey, we have this video and we're planning to release it on XYZ date. Even though there's a public record of the incident, even though she put it out there to the public in her lawsuit, it's one thing to share your version of events in your own space and time. It's another thing to wake up one morning and your texts are going crazy because CNN has just dropped this video of somebody manhandling you and kicking you in a way you wouldn't do a dog. I do hope that she had a heads up and a chance to prepare. She has not said anything since the video came out. I would imagine that based on the settlement, whatever it was between she and Diddy, that she probably can't speak publicly about him. I did see that there was a statement from her husband, a good statement. He said, I won't read the whole thing, but he said, quote, "Men who hit women aren't men. Men who enable it and protect these people aren't men. As men, violence against women shouldn't be inevitable. Check your brothers, your friends, and your family. Our daughters, sisters, mothers, and wives should feel protected and loved. Hold the women in your life with the utmost regard. Men who hurt women hate women." I don't really know what else to say. Like, people have been talking about this nonstop since Friday. Obviously, I think Diddy ain't shit. After I saw the video, I immediately posted on my Instagram, hell ain't hot enough for this nigga. I believed Cassie's version of events, everything that she said from the lawsuit. I didn't need to see the video in order to believe Cassie, but also seeing the video My God. My God. The man is a monster. And that's just one incident. From what I recall from the lawsuit, I haven't read it since we talked about it on here, but that's not even the worst incident that she described. Just like to remind people, that wasn't a one off. And she was with him for 9, 10 years, something like that. I'm actually very pleased, more or less, of people's reaction, particularly men reacting to Diddy. I wish more people, men especially, believed women when they speak out against assault, abuse. I also don't think men, a lot of men, not all, but a lot of men, really give two shits about women. People can know a man beats women. Diddy, it was an open secret. But people can know a man beats women. People can know a man assaults women and still be friends with him. It's a non factor. Knowing that your friend beats women or rapes women is not a reason not to be friends with him. There's really a fundamental lack of care for women. Unless they're related to you, then all of a sudden people should give a fuck. But I'm like, you realize all women are related to some man, right? I actually have a theory about that. I've been rolling it around. I haven't fully fleshed it out yet. But my theory is like, quote and unquote, good guys have to let the bad guys exist because what is your function of a man? And so men's typical thing is like, I need to protect, I need to provide. So provide, iffy. Provide is almost off the table because so many women have their own decent jobs. They can support themselves. It might be more difficult to thrive for some women, but you can survive as a woman without a man. Protect is like the thing men have left, but who are they protecting women from? It's not bears. It's not other women. It's other men. So if men actually started policing the behavior of other men, like, hey, stop beating women. Hey, stop raping women. Hey, treat women halfway decent. Don't rob. Don't steal. Don't kill. Like, behave. Then who do they protect women from? And what is their function? So in a way, it's kind of like the quote unquote good guys and then the quote unquote bad guys are codependent in order to keep women. Is subjugated the right word? Is it oppressed? Is there a difference? Something I've been rolling around. Haven't fully fleshed it out yet. But more or less, I do appreciate the number of men who I've seen outwardly speak up against violence against women. I think it's important. I think it's necessary. I wish it didn't take seeing a video of a woman being abused for them to speak up and to believe women. Better late than never. And also, can we remember this moment and not conveniently forget the next time a woman speaks up and says, hey, this happened to me? Can we remember that women do tell the truth and more often than not are telling the truth when they make accusations about abuse and about rape? Diddy issued an apology, a sorry ass apology, but I honestly don't know what he could have said that anybody wanted to hear. You got to know sometimes as a public figure when people just don't want to see you or hear from you. Puts out this video, this rambling video. We talked about how like disgusted he was with himself and how he was in this really dark space and blah 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 blah. He apologizes to the public, but he doesn't apologize to Cassie. I read, I think on TMZ, that said part of their settlement was, we talked earlier, she can't mention him. I don't think he can mention her either. But he didn't even make like an allusion to her. And I was like, well, maybe that's also part of the settlement. But I was like, this is weird. Like, I was upset seeing the video. Like, to see a person treat another person, it was very jarring. It was very disturbing. But at the end of the day, like, you didn't hit me. You hit Cassie. Did you apologize to her? I mean, even if not in this video, did you apologize to her at any point in time? And not just for this incident, but for any of the incidents. He was very clear in his video to apologize for the specific incident that we saw on CNN. But I was like, what about all the other shit you got accused of? Or you're not sorry about that, you're just sorry about this. I could parse the video, but also I don't know what he could have said that would have not been parsed that people would have accepted and be like, oh, okay, like we forgive you. If he threw himself on the figurative coals, I don't think any of it would have been good enough so soon. We don't want to see you. We don't want to hear from you. We don't fuck with you. He didn't appear to be in the United States. I don't know where he is. I was looking at that thatched roof in the video and I was like, is this nigga in Bali? Is he out there with Russell? I don't know where he is, but I was like, that roof wasn't giving America. I was like, did you go to a country with no extradition and release a public apology, sir? I don't know. What else do we have on this list regarding Puffy? I guess this is part of people who, I don't know why she decided to speak up this way, but she does this all the time, I think. Kelly Price, for whatever bizarre reason, decided to pray for Diddy. She watched that video on CNN. She watched Puffy's apology, and then she decided to write a prayer. I was like, ma'am, why would you insert yourself into this drama? This is not your drama. Why do you want to be here so bad? I'm not reading this whole thing. This is just dumb of her. She's staying inserting herself. I was like, I know her more for drama than I do for her music. Like, ma'am, you could sing. Go on and sing something. She wrote this in response to Diddy. She said, she said, it is my sincere prayer that the power of the Holy Ghost overtake you so that you not only have a change of heart, but a change of mind and a change of direction. I've seen you at your best and at your worst. I know what you are capable of being when you are at your best, despite the seductions of this industry. I want to see you, and I want to see you soon. Create this in this business, but I need you to pray and I need you to receive from the Most High. Ma'am, look. I understand you're a Christian woman. I understand that, you may see something that is traumatic. You may see something that is jarring. You may see something that is ungodly. You may feel a stirring in your soul. You may say, oh, we need to pray. Cassie is available and right there, right? Like if you really just like, oh, we need to pray. We need prayers. Cassie, pray for Cassie. Cassie got a mama. Cassie got a daddy. Cassie got some babies. Cassie got a husband. All of them could use some prayer. Diddy's children, all of them could use some prayer. I don't understand why you just felt so compelled to pour into this man. The power of the Holy Ghost overtake you. Let it overtake Cassie and heal and soothe her heart. I don't understand why you need Diddy to be healed and soothed so bad. Like, what is this caping? Kelly likes to do this. Jill Scott likes to do this. They're not the only ones. Those are the ones I'm naming right now. I got a friend that does this too. And I'm like, girl, why? Why? And the men never return the favor. Never. You just jumped into the shit. Now everybody's dragging you instead of dragging him. For why? Why is this the burden you want to carry? You ain't got enough on your plate, ma'am? Ma'am. Other interesting developments. We're gonna talk about Cameron in a minute. I want to talk about Misa Hilton, stylist Misa. She's also the mother of Diddy's oldest child. She's also been around since Diddy's early beginnings. I want to say Misa's been around 92, 93, 94, somewhere in there. Misa's been around since the early years. Misa knows where all the skeletons are buried. Misa posted this on her social media a couple of hours ago. She posted pictures of all the kids, one with just the boys, another one with just the girls. Diddy ain't shit. He makes beautiful children. I'll give him that. She said, it was very carefully worded. She turned the comments off too. She said, I am heartbroken that Cassie must relive the horror of her abuse, and my heart goes out to her. I know exactly how she feels. And through my empathy, not sympathy, empathy firsthand, it has triggered my own trauma. Did Diddy beat her too? Or she's referring to somebody else? It's a long life. Misa's a grown woman. I don't know who she's referring to. I'm asking the question, is she referring to Diddy? Of the children, she says, these young people were raised by women that want the best for them. We put God and education first and have always been united in our mutual effort to support their dreams. Two of the youngest do not have their mother here, and it has been our duty to support them. Their father needs help, and I am praying that he truly does the personal work and receives it. Is Misa about to talk? I was texting with one of my friends, and I asked her the same question. Is Misa about to speak freely? And she was like, not only is Diddy done, 90s hip hop is a wrap. Our entire coming of age, our entire young adulthood, the last years of high school, all of college, and somewhere to our mid 20s are going to be canceled. Oh, dear. If she got something to say, I'd like to hear it. There's so much more to come with this, unfortunately. A lot of people have been harmed by Diddy, and it seems his reckoning is upon us. It's going to be ugly, especially when these trials start happening. Because folks going to have to testify. They're going to start issuing these subpoenas. That's going to be a fucking mess. Last but not least, I don't want to spend too much time on this because this man is a goddamn clown. Cameron went on Abby Phillips' show last night. I'm recording this on Tuesday. And showed his whole natural clown black ass. By Cameron's version of events, because people have been debating this all day. By Cameron's own version of events, he got a call from CNN asking him to come on CNN airwaves and talk about Diddy. He agreed to go. He also felt away because he's like, yo, me and Mace got this podcast. It does well. It's successful. We do community outreach. We do good things for our community. And CNN has never had us on to talk about the good things that we do. Instead of just saying, no, I'll decline your offer because now you calling me about some bullshit, but you don't want to call me about my good shit. I'm not going to participate in your show. Cameron's 48 goddamn years old. This is important to note. Cameron thought it would be most appropriate to go on CNN live from Las Vegas in a bucket hat and some dark glasses to talk about Diddy. He answered Abby's first couple questions. He denounced the CNN video of Diddy abusing Cassie. She tried to ask him some more questions about Diddy. He said, I don't really know him like that. He said, I wasn't signed to him. He's like, you better serve asking. He said Mace, his co-host on his podcast, you better serve asking Mace about that. So as it was a segment about Diddy, Abby continued to ask questions about Diddy. Cameron got frustrated, but also did what he intended to do before he showed up. He promotes some product, some like pink something. It's like some herbal version of Viagra. He pulls it out and drinks it on camera and then tells Abby, he was like, oh, I'm about to go get some cheeks after this. He's taking his supplement so he can go have sex after the interview is over. That's what he means by cheeks. Abby asked him another question about Diddy. He was like, yo, who brought me on this interview? I don't watch this man. I don't know his life. So Abby cuts him off and she says, thank you, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, thanks for having me. It was one of the most ignorant displays I have ever seen on television. Clearly, sir, you don't want to be there. So why are you there? You had an opportunity to say no. Had this conversation on my socials earlier today. Cameron thought this would be an excellent opportunity to go on CNN and act a whole fucking clown because his audience of overgrown boys who are the age of grown ass men, middle-aged men, his core audience of boys who should be acting like men but aren't, would find that shit cute. Nigga. ER. What the fuck? I'm appalled by this shit. There is a whole other side of the internet that thinks Cameron is fucking hysterical. They're like, oh my God, it's like the real life version of his character in Paid in Full. Oh my God, it's so funny. No, it's not. It's sad. It's sad. He's a grown ass man acting like that. What's that boy? Keon, the one that like cookies and Macy's, plays for the Bills. He ain't even played a game yet. Keon Coleman, is that his name? Keon Coleman is 21 years old. He could legitimately be Cameron's son. He is 10 times more mature than Cameron. That's embarrassing. I don't think either one of them has had a day of media training. One of them just had somebody teach him how to fucking act right. The other one didn't. I can't believe Cameron acted like that and thinks that shit is cute. He did the interview, embarrassed his black ass. People are like, oh my God, he embarrassed Abby. Abby should not be embarrassed. This might fuck around and be the best thing to happen to Abby, the same way that R. Kelly losing his shit was the best thing to ever happen to Gail. Gail would not have been on the cover of Sports Illustrated had R. Kelly not acted a whole ass on her show and she had to sit there and keep her composure. Robert. Like she was talking to a small child throwing a tantrum. Wasn't a small child, was a tantrum. This is going to fuck around and be the best thing that ever happened to Abby because he sat there and acted like a whole nigga. And Abby kept her composure because really he deserved to be cussed the fuck out. I'm glad she didn't because then both of them would have been looking like an ass. As lovely as it is to go low sometimes, if you're the type of person that does it, God bless. Abby's not that type of person. I don't want to see somebody take her out of her character. I can't believe he acted like that. I guess I can believe people are cheering it because people be ignorant as shit online. I think it's crazy though that people are like, this is CNN's fault. This isn't Cameron's fault. Like, you know who he is. Like, why are y'all giving this grown ass man a pass? Does he have no accountability for his actions? They were like, well, you know, he acted up when he was on Bill O'Reilly. He acted up when he was on Anderson Cooper. So what do people expect? Because he acts up on a regular basis, it's just okay for him to act up? Where's all that accountability y'all be screaming about anytime a woman makes any kind of minor mistake? Cameron could just act an ass over and over and over. And people are like, oh, the CNN people should have known. Like, why would you as a black man go on this black woman show and show your natural black ass like that? It's just a fundamental lack of respect for black women and black women's work. Like, you done showed up at this lady's place of employment acting like this, nigga? Yeah. And don't see shit wrong with it. And half the internet is like, oh my God, ha ha ha, it's so funny. Cameron, he did this crazy thing. Grow the fuck up. Like, this man is 48 years old doing this shit. Properly middle-aged. All right, my voice is giving out. You can hear it. I can feel it. I don't know if that's everything I have to say about Diddy or Cameron. But right now, I need to stop talking. Because my throat hurts. We'll talk, God willing, on Friday. I hope I feel better because right now sucks. All right, bye.